everybody, welcome back to Life with Type 1 Diabetes. It's Kara. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Yes, it has been a minute since I've recorded anything. The last part of 2023 was difficult. We had some family stuff going on and it just made it really hard to actually do anything as far as filming and all that. But as you can see, I'm in a new room, I'm in a new space, and I'm going to try more avidly this year to do more things with my YouTube channel and Instagram and things like that. And so I am back and I have a new video for you guys today. Today's video, I wanted to bring my story and experience with the Dexcom G7. As someone using Dexcom, both in Canada and in the US, you can be what's called Dexcom Warrior. That's my shirt. And as someone who was a Dexcom Warrior, or still is a Dexcom Warrior, I had the opportunity to pre-try the Dexcom G7 in the fall. And so today I'm going to share with you how I found it, the different pros and cons that I find it has compared to the G6, and I'm just going to walk you guys through that. And you guys can make your own choice, and depending on your setup, like where you live, what your insurance coverage is, and all that, you can kind of decide how you want to move forward with that. I am someone, I think I've mentioned this before, who uses the Tandem T-Slim X2 insulin pump, and in Canada we are not quite at the point yet where it has come into fruition as far as the software goes. It is being approved currently by Health Canada, and it takes a while, so hopefully we will get that approval shortly. But in the meantime, I'm just going to walk you guys through all the different things with the G7, and hopefully it'll go really smoothly when the software is finally approved for us Tandem T-Slim X2 insulin pump users in Canada. So, as some of you may have seen, this is what the G7 looks like. This is the box that it came in. The G7, as you may have heard, what I like about it is it comes with a transmitter. Your transmitter isn't separate from your sensor. So on this side it says that. On the opposite side it's got all of the expiration dates and things like that, and then on the other side it has a bunch more of these numbers as well, which are just code numbers and like a QR code little picture thing. So the Dexcom G7 looks like this. It's really small, and because I already used it, I can't actually show you what it looks like attached to the applicator, but this is the applicator. So I'm going to try and get this to focus. So this is the this sensor number, and it has expiration date and all that kind of stuff on it, and then on the side of the box it has a transmitter number on here somewhere. Yeah, it has all that information. Anyways, it comes with a little bit of an insert, so you can always read that as well. But because it comes all in one, I'm fairly certain you just have to put the sensor number in, and because it comes with a transmitter, I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. I don't exactly remember, it's been a while. But what does happen with the G7 that I liked as opposed to the G6 is, if I can show you, it's this tiny little overpatch. Because of the fact that the G7 is so small, it needs an overpatch on it at all times because the adhesive around the transmitter itself is quite short. as compared to the G6, which is pretty large. I mean, I've got an overpatch on it right now, but it's still much larger than the G7. On the screen somewhere, I'm going to put the little clip I took from my phone of what I really like about the G7, and I'll obviously talk about it as well, but I'll put it up on the screen somewhere here. But what I really like about it is that not only is this small, and it's just like, I don't know if I can show you, this one little button here is how you release it, so it's smaller, which is great. The other thing that I like about it is that on the app itself, it also comes with the Clarity app in it as well. So like with the G6, I'll put a picture up here, the app and the Clarity app. So you have to have both of those to see what's going on. G7, it's just quite literally the screen of what your graph is of your blood sugars. And then underneath, it's got about this much space of where the Clarity information is. So you can see exactly what's going on at any given time, which I think is amazing, because having two apps is kind of annoying. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not the best setup as far as I'm concerned. So there's that. And it also, with the G7, that doesn't happen with the G6, it actually gives you a 12-hour grace period after your sensor has expired. In other words, you don't have to just change it right away. You can wait 12 hours, and once that 12 hours is up, then you have to change it. So that's really great, because if you don't have time and you're running out the door or whatever, but you need your Dexcom, you can wait those 12 hours and then change it. So that's really fantastic. Then the size of the readings are a little bit smaller, and you just have to be careful about how you're walking, or if you're going to bump into something or something like that. Because of the size, it's a little easier to knock it off as opposed to not. At least that's what I found, because when I was wearing it, I'll also put a picture up here somewhere, I was wearing my G6 and my G7 at the same time, so I was actually getting two different readings because of where they were in my arm. So I found that interesting. Sometimes when I was wearing the G6, or when I had the G6 on, it was like a couple points out, and then the G7 was like, so either it was a little bit too high on one and a little bit too low on the other, and there was only a couple times where it actually calibrated together, which was interesting. But because I worked for the same time frame, they were both on for 10 days, it was fine. The alarms are slightly different as well in terms of the pitch and all that kind of stuff, but because the Clarity app is on the same page, it just made it so much easier to look all the time to kind of see how much time in range you had, or just what other things were going on at the time, right? And so when it comes to those types of things, I think the G7 is great. One app for your number readings as well as Clarity, smaller size, transmitters on with every sensor. So that's what I really like about the G7. Now with the G6, although it has a new sensor every 10 days and transmitter every 90 days, that is a little bit annoying. But, it kind of, because the adhesive is a bit wider and there's more of it, it sticks better. The alarms are fine. I mean, it's the alarms are the alarms. You can't really change a whole lot about those, but it does flow a little better in some ways. you know, and the thing about it is kind of probably like what would happen with the G6, but like I recently had an entire box of G6s with the exact same sensor number. It was insane. It was really weird, and it may happen with these as well. I'm not sure, but I mean, the biggest pro about this is the size. It's tiny. And I'm just gonna look on this thing for a minute to show you something. Because I kept this all because I knew I was gonna want to show you guys. So doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. Yeah, there's not much more on here as I thought, other than it does say you can apply the overpatch whenever you need, but I found that it was definitely necessary more often than not, just because of the smaller amount of adhesive around the outside of the sensor itself, not the sensor, the transmitter. But yeah, other than that, I like the app is different a little bit, and because it's obviously like sort of like with the G7, and if you use a receiver, the receiver is different than the receiver for the G6. So if you are a person who uses the receiver and not your phone, you will have to get a new receiver as well, because it doesn't work with the G6 receiver. The app is fairly similar. It's a little bit smaller, and it's one app, and it kind of doesn't require as much stuff as the G6 does, with having the Clarity app, a separate login, and the G6 app, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say overall, there are a lot more pros than there are cons for me. However, it's just the one downfall that I find so far with G7 is the size of adhesive around the transmitter itself. I mean, obviously the idea was for it to be small, because like it's quite literally like that big. But having said that, it just means that you have to be more careful with it than with the G6. I mean, obviously you have to be careful with G6 as well, that you don't bump it on something or it falls off or anything like that. But it does have a little bit more durability, in my opinion, as far as the adhesive goes, because the sensor is its own entity. With this, there's a new transmitter every 10 days that's built into the sensor, which I will give Dexcom the credit for doing that, because I will say that having an additional piece to the sensor can definitely be a little bit of an inconvenience. But if it's all in one place, there's a chance you won't lose it, because I have heard of people doing whatever, and they like toss their sensor out and put a new one in, and then accidentally toss out the transmitter with the sensor at the same time, and then they lost their transmitter. So that is, I think, a much better system, because you definitely won't lose your transmitter because it's always there. Yeah, I think that's about it. Looking forward to having it be functional with the tandem t:slim X2 insulin pump. And I hope, as you may have heard, there have been some kinks, but as with any new piece of technology, there's always going to be some kinks. So I'm just hoping that those kinks will get resolved, because it would be nice to have just a new Dexcom and a new opportunity to use something that's a little bit more streamlined and to have everything in one place. Because I think having both the app with your numbers and the Clarity app all in one is such a smart idea. Obviously, I know like the technology isn't always there to have it be where you can have both at the same time, which is why the G6 and the Clarity app had to be different, because that was just the way the technology was at the time. But since trying to find ways to have the engineers build it into the app, I think it's a game changer for a lot of people, and I think it'll just help doctors and everyone else going forward to do different things in that way. So I think that about sums it up as far as what I really enjoyed about the G7 and what the differences are from the G7 and the G6. So that is actually all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys will have a great rest of your day. I hope for flat CGM lines if you are someone using the Dexcom or Freestyle Libre. Either way, and I hope your blood sugars cooperate with you no matter what you guys are doing today, and I will see you guys next time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and click the notification bell down below to know when I upload next. Like I said, I'm hoping it'll be a little bit more frequently than it was in 2023, but I will see you guys next time.